we are just one day after the NFL Combine is over, and we already have the first real domino to fall in free agency with the, I guess, the biggest or third or fourth biggest quarterback in the free agency class that is available, that has now found a team, found a home. It is Derek Carr. He has gone to the New Orleans Saints when, after meetings with the Jets and the Panthers that apparently went well, it is kind of surprising that it ended up being the Saints. Now, the Saints is the Saints. This is not the Sean Payton or Drew Brees Saints anymore. This is starting Jameis Winston and fighting with Andy Dalton and Taysom Hill New Orleans Saints. But this is where Derek Carr has decided to go after recently being cut or released, I guess is probably a better way of putting it rather than cut, by the Raiders out of his contract. I'm going to look above here. Signed a 4-year, $150 million contract, up to $150 million contract, which is 37.5 a year. 70 of that is guaranteed, with I think something like 60 of it after signing and 10 while signing. Basically, so they can, like, so I'm pretty sure New Orleans are pretty close to, if not over, the cap space already, with guys they need to bring back. Straight away, the first big thing here is, yes, Derek Carr had a bad 2022. We'll get into that in a minute. But he's still a massive upgrade over a Jameis Winston, over an Andy Dalton, and over a Taysom Hill. With one of them, I think Jameis, they already said, is probably the guy who's going to end up falling out of the team and not coming back. Now, Derek Carr last year, I have it up in front of me, just over 3,500 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions, which is third most in the league. He 60% completion, which I think is the second worst of his career. I think it's like 58 in his rookie year. He pretty much, that whole team struggled. He connected well with Davante Adams, but overall he had bad decision making. His ball placement was off. He forced most of the turnovers that he had. Now, the offensive line, Josh McDaniels' new offense, the Patriots rejects, as we call it, with a lot of the Patriots staff went with Josh McDaniels to Vegas, and it just didn't work. Derek Carr didn't seem comfortable. He didn't really want to go to anybody but Davante Adams, even with Darren Waller, who's in and out with injury. Hunter Renfrow was there. Josh Jacobs took over a lot of the, I guess, burden of the offense. With, I think it was 1,600 yards rushing. I had picked him for Offensive Player of the Year. Obviously didn't get it in the end. But that's what he was dealing with last year. But the big thing when you saw with him was he wasn't, even though the offensive line struggled, even though he was kind of forcing it to Davante in a way, where it's almost like he felt like he had to get it to him. He's the only guy he trusted there. He, in the pocket, he was obviously rushed to a degree, but his feet he never rushed, he didn't throw, I guess, how do I even put this? He was rushed, but didn't seem rushed, I guess is the way I put it, where his mannerisms didn't seem like he's rushed. Like, in the pocket, he still seemed calm, but when he was calm, he still ended up turning the ball over, like I said, 14 times. That this is easily, he's kind of been going down the last 2 years production-wise, where, like, he had a good stretch of 4 or 5 years before the last 2 years, but like, he had 4,000 yards last year. Now he's dropped down to 3,500, and like I said, the 14 turnovers. I think he had 14 turnovers year before as well. But when he came into the season, obviously they got Davante Adams in. You saw how good Darren Waller was the year before. You saw how good Hunter Renfrow was the year before. You had Josh Jacobs in a contract year. Now, I don't know what they're going to do there. I'd be surprised if Davante Adams comes back. So it's a big change for the Raiders. Vegas they're completely, now I guess, in a way, Josh McDaniels gets to go and get his own quarterback, because Derek Carr was already there when he got there. But for New Orleans, it's in a division where you have the Bucks. Brady has gone from the Bucks. The Panthers don't know what they're doing at quarterback yet. More than likely probably going to take a CJ Stroud or Anthony Richardson even at number 9 if they don't trade up. The Texans are the Texans. So to me, now, I would have said, and I have written it down, that this Derek Carr move makes them the best team in the NFC South. Probably, arguably, the worst division in football. But obviously, you'd Chris Olave, the rookie wide receiver last year, came on the scene, looked as good as he did from Iowa State. You do need to bring back Jarvis Landry, who's going to be a free agent, I'm sure. Michael Thomas, even though he's struggled, you're probably going to bring him back maybe in a vet minimum, which will give you a bit of flexibility. You have Marquez Callaway, who shows signs of being a deep threat. You have Traquan Smith, again, who looks like a bit of a playmaker. You have AK-47, Alvin Kamara, who You don't know. I can't remember. Was he guilty for his assault? You don't know what he's going to do. So there's a lot of moving pieces that the Saints still need to get done for me to comfortably say they're the best in division. When I like their defense was good last year. They were, I think, top 10 in points allowed. Most of these guys are coming back. I think Marcus Davenport. Again, defense still needs to bring guys back. They have Tyron Matthew. They have Marshawn Lattimore. They still need things they need to do. Peyton Turner hopefully is a big breakout season, I guess, next year. They have the 30th overall pick because they traded away number 10 to Philadelphia. So they can't really get too much of a difference maker in the first round. Now, they're probably, the offensive line is good. Again, that's another big thing for Derek Carr. While some guys, one or two guys I think it's Colton Miller, on the Vegas offensive line last year, did step up a bit. It's definitely an upgrade for Derek Carr going to the offensive line in New Orleans, which is why you're going to get a bounce back year from, I guess, even though his receiving core is arguably a good bit worse. Probably not arguably, it is worse. Going from Devontae Adams to Chris Olave, from Darren Waller to probably Juwan Johnson, who looked okay. He led the team in touchdowns last season, I think 7, because he ended up being a red zone fiend at one stage. You do need back Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas. I don't know if they're going to bring both of them back. I imagine I would rather bring Landry back than Thomas, but you could get Thomas cheaper than you would get Landry. So I think you need to bring back Landry or Thomas, because you can't have just Olave, Callaway, and Traquan Smith, and again Taysom Hill, whatever he's going to be doing. And then you don't know what you're doing in the running back situation. So can't say that they're going to be the best in the division yet, but they probably will be unless Carolina bounce up, because I like Carolina's defense as well. Then you like Tampa Bay, they're going to be starting Kyle Trask, which is a big drop off from Tom Brady, and you like Chris Godwin's in trade talks already. Mike Evans is probably in trade talks. There's a lot of moving parts in Tampa Bay as well. Texans, they're still in a rebuild pretty much after last year with Lovie Smith, and now going to this year with D'Amico Ryans. So Derek Carr, big upgrade for the Saints, a big downgrade for Vegas, who now are in quarterback market now straight away again. I'd be surprised if they don't try and get a Jimmy G in there for Josh McDaniels. I can't see them going for a rookie now with Josh McDaniels need to win now, or he's going to lose his job. So there's that for them. And most of all, I'm probably happiest that as much as Derek Carr struggled last year, and we did have a good laugh at how bad Derek Carr was last year, because like I said, they're like the mini Patriots with all of the Patriots staff going over there with Josh McDaniels. I am happy that he's not going to be going to the Jets. I don't need another strong quarterback. That's in the AFC East, because we don't know what we're doing next year. That's a whole other conversation. We already have, that's all that they're missing seemingly with the Jets, with the likes of, they already have Garrett Wilson in there, Corey Davis. They have the running backs there. They have the defense. They have Robert Saleh. And then you have obviously the Bills with Josh Allen. You have Mike McDaniels and Tua Tagovailoa in Miami. Like they all seem to have the quarterback situation sorted. The Jets are kind of the guys on the outside looking in. So it's good news for us. We'll see what goes. I don't think I'm ready to say that Derek Carr makes them the best team in the NFC South, but if they do make the right moves, it's not far off being it. And it's the first domino to fall. We still have a lot of guys, like I said, Jimmy G, like Tyler Huntley, Lamar Jackson's probably going to get tagged. Daniel Jones wants apparently $45 million a year, so that's going to be another situation to watch. The quarterback situation this summer is going to be all over the place. So this is just the first domino to fall. And it's a big domino, $150 million. It's nothing to laugh at for 4 years. And yeah, that's pretty much. So we'll see where it goes, see what else moves now, how this changes the quarterback market, how it changes the quarterback draft class, and what happens after this, because like I said, it's the biggest one to fall. So thank you, and let me know what you think of the Derek Carr contract is probably the biggest part of this. So yeah.